What's going on, everybody? You're watching the Iron Gordon channel. Thank you for being here. Today we're painting a Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R. I don't know, man. It's a motorcycle. We're going to be painting the plastics. Let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. My man Two Real Jodeci from Florida hit me up and asked if he shipped the plastics, would I be willing to paint them? And of course, I said yes. We landed on a design that he liked. He wanted to go with the Frankenstein theme, but not actually painting portraits of Frankenstein. And listen, I already know there's going to be somebody in the comments saying,
Actually, Gordon, it's Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, dude, I know, you got me. Congratulations, nerd. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna just call it Frankenstein. Moving on. The first step to getting these plastics ready, I hit them with a little bit of simple green and some 400 grit sandpaper. This does two things for me. It gives the plastics a nice little tooth for the paint to grab onto, and it removes any grease or contaminants that may have gotten on there during the manufacturing or shipping process. Once everything's nice and cleaned up, I hit it with some Montana Black. Now I know what some of you are thinking.
Gordon, isn't it already black? Why are you painting it black again?
The answer is simple. Control. By laying down my own black base, I know exactly what color I'm working with. If I need to make a correction later after adding some color, I can come back and add some black and avoid any weird differences in the shade. Now that the black is dry, we're moving on to some Montana Pistachio Green. I've already figured out where the front of the bike is and how all the pieces are going to line up together. I'm spraying with a nice wide angle here, which gives me a soft fade where the green transitions nicely back into the black. Moving right along, now the green is dry, we're going to start adding some texture. I'm using a combination of fabric and some plastic stencils I found online. I'll put the link in the description below. The goal here is to build up different shades of green, some lighter, some darker, to create a skin texture. It's supposed to be imperfect, it's supposed to be a little nasty, a little monster-like. Remember, we're going for that monster zombie undead flesh look. Once I get the texture where I want it, I start laying down some vinyl pinstriping tape. This stuff's awesome. I'm going to link it in the description below as well. The plan is to create some cuts and tears in the skin. So I'm masking everything off with some blue painter's tape and some application film, and then I hit it with another base coat of Montana Black. While the black is still wet, I throw down some vivid red over the top to create a little splatter effect. This gives us more texture and variation in the wounds. After letting that partially dry, I peel everything back and move on with some custom stencils that I made using some sticky paper. It's basically just X's and dashes, and the idea is to create a look of a thick rope stitch holding these wounds shut. If that doesn't make sense, you just gotta trust the process. Once my Montana Party Yellow dries, I move in with some black one-shot using a Kafka liner brush. This is where everything really starts to come alive. The black outlines add so much depth and help define all the wounds and stitches. I like using a little bit of a thick to thin stroke in a lot of these areas, and even a little bit of a worn out brush can work in my favor because it creates broken, jagged lines. Next, I grab a battery powered airbrush with some black paint and add a little bit of shading around the rope and the cuts and the skin just to help push the depth and make everything feel a little bit more three-dimensional. Let's take a break real quick to talk about today's sponsor, which is Grim Moto. It's a Southern California-based clothing brand that supports the e-bike, e-moto culture. Look, man, they got a bunch of cool designs, graphics, keychains, and look at these valve stem covers they make. These things are absolutely sick. I really enjoy this overall style. They asked if they could sponsor today's video, and I gladly took their money. And also some free merch, so it does not take much to buy me. Anyway, check them out. I'll have a link for their website down below. On this panel, I use a blue Stabilo to trace around the shape so that I know where to stop and start my lettering. Since this piece is such a weird shape, I like to roughen the lettering first. It helps me keep the spacing accurate and make sure everything fits where it needs to. Then, for a little extra razzle dazzle, I had some vivid red splatter behind the lettering. For the lettering itself, I'm just using straight red one-shot paint with a Kafka No. 4 liner. This brush is getting a little old and starting to fork, but honestly, again, it works in my favor here. I want the lettering to feel a little bit rough and jagged, kind of like a 1940s horror movie poster. The lettering itself is pretty simple. I focus on keeping the stroke weights consistent while still giving each letter its own personality by pushing the lines a little bit past the edges and adding some roughness. What good is a Frankenstein themed motorcycle without some lightning bolts on it? So for this next step, I come in with my battery powered airbrush and some white paint. This acts as a base coat for the orange so that the color really pops. Then I hit it again with white using a tighter spray pattern, tracing the inside of the lightning bolt. This creates that bright highlight and glow effect. Once everything is finished and fully dry, we move on to the clear coat. I'm using Spray Max Clear with a matte finish to give everything that nice satin look. I think you're really gonna like how this came out. Since I don't actually have the motorcycle here to install the parts on myself, I'm going to box everything up, ship it back to my man in Florida. He's going to put it back together, and then he's going to send me some final shots. But until then, I think it's finished. That is a wrap. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our sponsor, Grimmoto. Link is down there in the doop. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I'll try better next time.
Airbrush.